Hey guys, it's Megan here. I'm waiting to connect with Margot. We're fairly new to trying this whole joint live session. So if you just bear with us for a second while we work out the kinks. Hey Jen, we'll get rocking and rolling. I know that we have a handful of people that are joining us in real time. So if at any point while we're chatting, if you have any questions at all, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. You can hear me. I think it's adding you. If you have any questions at all, anytime, just drop them below in our, hey, I can see you. Oh, good, and I can hear you. Perfect. Like I was saying, we have a handful of people that are jumping on with us in real time. If you have any questions at all, drop them below. But if I know there's going to be quite a few of you catching the recording, so it'll be super simple. If we talk about anything that you want to know more about, or if we don't cover something that you may have a question about, just drop that and we will make sure to get to it. Tomorrow we'll both be in here once or twice just sharing some extra information because we're not going to spend your entire Monday chatting and taking up all of your time. So yeah, that's how this works. It's super laid back. I don't know. I can't have coffee this late at night or I would be up forever. Oh, I guess there's decaf. I never drink that. But if you have coffee, wine, whatever it is, we are just super glad that you're spending some time with us tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and just share a little bit about myself and my coaching story, and then kind of let Margot do the same. So if you don't know me, if Margot invited you here, my name is Megan Pope, and I found Beachbody just about 3 years ago. It was the end of November, beginning of December of 2014. And at the time, I was really struggling with life and keeping it together. I just had my third baby. My other two were under 3. And it was just a very frantic time in my life. We were in a new state. Hey, Lauren. We were in a new state. My husband had accepted a new position and had already been living in a new state away from me and the kids for part of that year. Then we moved there. My father-in-law passed away really unexpectedly. And then we had a baby that was in the NICU for a while. And basically, it was just this incredibly stressful time. You know, when they talk about some of the most crazy moments of your life are moves, deaths and losses of loved ones, new job, new baby. We had all of that happening at one time. And up until that point, I had never worked out at home. I never even really thought about it. I had seen some of these infomercials and I just kind of assumed that the people that were having really amazing results were the outliers, you know, that was not the norm. I was a runner. I was into CrossFit. I just didn't really see the need for this in my life at all. But then all of a sudden I found myself in a totally different situation. You know, I didn't have that community to tap into that I was used to in Columbus. I didn't have my running club. I didn't have babysitters to watch my kids. And with a NICU baby, I was really concerned and not comfortable taking him to a gym daycare. So, you know, for a couple weeks, you know, once I got cleared to work out, I was kind of pouty about it. Like, oh, I'm never going to be able to work out again. And this isn't fair and poor me. And, you know, I really just found myself like putting blame on everybody in my life and not taking any responsibility for it whatsoever. Like I was kind of mad at my husband for making us move. I was frustrated with my parents. They didn't understand the stress that I was under. I was just having a bit of a pity party for myself, you know? And I woke up one day and realized like, a switch went off and I'm like, Megan, you cannot live your life like this. You've waited your entire life to be a mom, and you're not even enjoying it. Like you are wasting time. And the more I thought about it that morning, I had wasted so much time in that entire year just going through the motions, like really not appreciating the gifts in my life, the blessings in my life. And because I wasn't taking care of myself the way that I should be. Like the ability to see at that point that self-care was so important to my kids, to my marriage, to my ability to handle stress. You know, I had lost sight of that. So I called up my girlfriend. I said, hey, I'm going to buy that PIO thing. I said I would try Shakeology because I'd heard so much about it, but it really didn't, at the moment, I didn't think it fit into our lifestyle. We already ate really clean and I didn't understand the benefit of it. So I was like, well, sure, I'll try it, but I'm not going to order it. And about 2 weeks into this, I really and truly felt better than I had in almost 11 months. Like my energy was up. It was awesome to start my day with this small win and like check one thing off my list. And instead of waking up grouchy because I was tired, I was still exhausted. I had an 8-week-old who was, you know, never sleeping. I saw like the small glimmer of something that I could do to set the tone for my day, and I was hooked. I love being able to connect with other moms that were going through the same thing, and I love that there was women of all ages. You know, there's women in our group that have grandchildren my children's age. There are women that are our age that have young children. It was just such a wonderful way to connect with people in a really positive way. And so within a week or two, I realized how special this was. And it was something that I could share with other people. And that by doing so, I would not only keep myself accountable, but it could be a way that in case there was any other moms out there feeling like I was, that I could like show them, hey, you don't have to do this by yourself. And there is a way to take care of yourself without feeling selfish or like you're taking away from your family. So I just started, and I never had an expectation of building a business, so to speak, but in just under 3 years, I really have built a really successful business and been able to help my family in ways that I never imagined. You know, I do work full time, but we have 4 kids under 6 or 6 and under. So the ability to have another way to provide income and help this big family of ours has been such a tremendous blessing. So it's something I feel so passionate about with everybody, because by taking care of yourself, you can really not only be the best version of you and change in ways that you probably didn't even imagine possible. You can build a business around it too. And it's just a fantastic, fantastic opportunity. So I'm going to let Margot share her story and how she got involved in this as well.
Hey, thanks, Megan. If Megan invited you here, let me take a chance to introduce myself. My name is Margot Barber. And I was brought in to Beachbody and Team Top Knot thanks to Megan. And it's funny how all this kind of works out. So Megan and I knew each other in college. We were friends in college, but really didn't know each other that much in between then. And all of a sudden, I get this Facebook message from someone who says like, hey, how are you? By the way, I'm about to have my 4th in 4 years. Is it as bad or it's good, right? And I just remember this like sound in her voice, even though this was over message, like, it's good, right? Like, you're fine. Because if you don't know me, I also had 4 kids in 4 years. And it's really funny that it's coaching that brought Megan and I back together. But I don't have many friends who have as much in common as Megan and I do. 4 kids in 4 years, husbands who travel. We have moved many, many times with young children. I don't live in the same city as my family. Both our third-borns have food allergies. Like, the list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. But what has really like connected us and brought us back together is coaching. So I just always think back, like, if Megan hadn't been sharing her story and what this had meant to her, I wouldn't be here. And I think that was a major catalyst in what encouraged me to go ahead and start coaching. So similar to Megan, gym daycares were just not happening. Every time I tried, they would call me within like 15 or 20 minutes. And it was kind of like, I'm not really here to train for a marathon, but 30 minutes would be awesome. Just
right.
And one time I walked in, my oldest was 2 at the time, and she was in the area for 10 years old and up. And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess she got loose. So that was the end of that for me. But I just remember feeling like I don't feel like myself. And I was sitting on the couch, a new baby, 3 other toddlers. And I remember thinking like, okay, Margot, like, what is wrong with you? This is exactly what you always wanted. So why are you not loving every second? And it was kind of like this reality check, like something has to change, but what's it going to be? Like, we live in a cold city. I live outside of Chicago. So the weather is not going to change, and something's got to give. So it's going to have to be me. So after Megan and I talked for a little bit, I too decided to start with PIO, and really just fell in love with the energy from the challenge groups and the support of them, and just take this idea of taking care of myself and not feeling guilty about it. And that was the really missing piece for me. Is I felt bad anytime I wasn't changing a diaper, feeding someone, holding someone, reading to someone. I just didn't realize, I just thought every mom did that. And that's what I had to do because I had 4 babies and that was my choice. So then I met this community who was like, no, it's awesome that you do that, but you need to take care of yourself. And don't feel bad about it. So that kind of started me in on this whole journey. And when I, PIO, yes, the greatest getaway drug in the whole wide world. You feel good about yourself physically, mentally. It's so good. I remember thinking like, I'll never like Shakeology, but I'm going to try it. Like, it's a good deal. And then I love Shakeology, maybe even more than I loved the PIO, truth be told, and kind of got hooked on that. And when I thought about coaching, I can remember having this conversation with my husband, like, I'm going to do it because the discount is like a no-brainer. And I think Megan is so awesome and so cute, but no way I'm ever doing it. And like, really, honey? Like, why not? I was like, I just couldn't even imagine, blah, blah, blah. We have all these kids. And he was like, okay, I mean, don't other coaches have kids? I'm like, well, yeah, they do. And I remember one day, literally one day after I signed up as a coach, a friend of mine sent me an email. This is someone I worked with in Texas, hadn't talked to her in years. You look so good and seem so happy. What's going on with you? I need to know. And I was like, oh, shoot, like, this is the sign, this whole thing. Like, she wants to know. Maybe I have other friends who want to know. And I'm the type of person who, when I get a pair of jeans that fits awesome, or I try a new recipe or go to a new store, like, I tell everybody.
Yes.
And like, think, got it, dude. Like, how are you not doing this? So that's kind of where this came for me. And my biggest thing, like I said before, I thought to myself, okay, what if Megan would have said, I don't feel like talking about this to people. I don't feel like sharing this part of my life with people. Where would I be? So maybe, just maybe, I could help one person and I would feel like I was doing this for someone. So that's kind of where it all started for me. In my life prior to kids and after I had one child, I was a pharmaceutical rep. Part of what I loved about that was I was on my own. Most of the time, it was very entrepreneurial. I, for a long time, wanted to start a wine and cupcake shop. And this was way before that was totally popular. I swear.
I love that.
I probably had, I was a pharmaceutical rep in dermatology. I worked for Cooler before that. So I was pretty much hit up by almost every MLM you can think of. And it did not speak to me. That's the only way I can say about it. I'm sure they are great products. I still think they're probably great products, but I thought, I don't believe in it. I don't buy into it. And so then I found something that fit in my life. And that's now why I spend the time sharing it, because I don't know anybody who's not busy. Does anybody know anybody who's not busy? I mean, no. So it's not like I did this because I was bored or just looking for something else to do. I did this, and in doing this, kind of realized there was a piece of me missing. And it was definitely that having something for myself and really building a business. I kind of had put that part of me to the side. And now that I have this opportunity to do it on my terms, while I can still be the mom I want to be, it's really been an amazing experience and such a great opportunity for me. It really does fit into my life. And I'm just going to give you guys a little synopsis of kind of how I do it. So in the morning, I work out. That's part of our job, which is kind of like the best part of the job because I want to do that anyways. And I post it on Instagram and I show people what I'm doing, and I show people how horribly uncoordinated I am. And that's okay. So I'll spend some time in the morning just posting, this is what I'm doing. Do it with me. Come on, let's do it together. And I check in with my group. These groups are life. These groups are so positive, so supportive. So I spend a little time checking in with my people. Oh, am I getting mad faces? I hope no one's mad at me.
I'm sure she didn't mean to do that.
So
that was Kaylee, and she loves our groups. So.
Yes, that's like our groups are good, I promise. Oh, there's a heart.
There's hearts.
That's better. That's better. So I spend a little time checking with groups. Guys, this is not a major time commitment. And then nap time. Nap time is my big work time. Mm-hmm. Everybody into bed, and I sit down and I focus on developing my business. And I love this time. My house is most of the time quiet. And I get to do something like, Kaylee's son doesn't like our groups.
That's okay, Kaylee.
It's okay. And I get to spend some time, using my brain. And it's not about potty training. It's not about anything about that. It's helping women find this piece of happiness that I've been able to find in my own life. And then it's things like this tonight. A lot of times I'll sit down after I get everybody in bed and maybe we have a fun call, or I spend some time answering some messages, just helping people. And it's really about sharing what we do. And Kaylee, my life is a mess too, guys. I decided to get Christmas decorations out today because we're going out of town.
Oh, you're brave.
Whatever. And you guys know how you have those things, moments in life where you think it's going to be such an awesome time with your and then you do it, you're fine. And it's like not. That's how Christmas decorating is for me. I always thought it was going to be just this like adorable time and we'd like sing carols, and really they just fight and they put things in places I don't like, and then I have to move it all back. Anyways, so I get it. Like life is a mess, but that's the thing. I've made so many new friends who really understand this life and reconnected with old ones. And I'm just so, I'm so thankful for that. And I really do believe, I know Megan and I do happen to have a lot in common, but I don't think that that's what makes for a successful coach. I truly, truly believe that anybody can have success in this business. I have a new coach who just started on our team, and she's like newly married, doesn't even have kids yet, and starting her business. And I told her the other day, I am so, so envious. I would love to have had the opportunity to start building this business before now. But again, that's her story, not mine. So I think that there are a million different ways to be a good coach. And what I love about this environment is I'm now a part of Megan's team. And if you join on, you'll be a part of our large team. So you're never alone. I remember starting thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing. And how am I ever going to learn what I'm doing? But you're not alone, and you're on a team, and we're all totally unique and different. And I do believe that whatever your story is, like you can, you can use this to empower yourself, to empower others, and really make a run at a successful business. And that's all.
Yes. Margot touched on so many good points, you guys. And just to piggyback on a couple things that she said. So I, honest to goodness, believe that every person in this world could be a Beachbody coach. Are they all going to be like a top $10 million earner coach? Not necessarily, but I honestly believe that anybody on this planet, their life could be enhanced by being a coach. And let me tell you why. Like, we have these things called the 4 vital behaviors, and it's really the 4 activities that we try to take every single day to build our business. There's no crazy business plan here. It is super simple. The first, Margot mentioned, it's doing your workout, drinking your Shakeology, basically being a product of the product, putting yourself first as a top priority. We need constant affirmation that that's okay to do, because we live in a society, we are so fast paced, we are so quick to like judge others for what they are doing or not doing. Having a safe community and safe place for people to like encourage you to be your best self every day is huge. It's so huge. So that's our first vital behavior. Our next vital behavior is personal development. Every day we commit to reading, listening to 10 minutes of something that is going to grow our confidence, our mindset. It's probably what we used to call 10, 15 years ago, self-help books, right? But it's personal growth and development. I feel so sad that nobody in my life introduced this to me sooner. As I was getting married, like I think back to how my relationship and my marriage would be different now if Nick and I had started doing personal development a decade ago, and like really working on a relationship. I don't know why we go through all of this education our entire life, and then we get to our early adult years and we think, okay, we've got it. We go through so many changes and different trying periods, and that's never going away, right? So I love that one of the main focuses of this company is personal development and working on being the best spiritually, mentally as well, not just physically. Then our third vital behavior is what Margot mentioned, in sharing our journey. I'm sure that you guys are here, especially if you're our challengers. I would imagine you don't feel like we chased you down and beat you over the head with a bag of Shakeology to try it, right? Like you saw us sharing our journey, putting ourselves out there, and like showing you how uncoordinated we are, how messy our playrooms are as we're like tripping over toys to get our workouts in. It's not perfect, but we need more of that, more reminders that, it's hard. It doesn't look like it does in the magazine, just like Margot said with the Christmas decorations, So sharing our stories and sharing our experiences. And yes, I reach out to people and ask them if they want to join me, but as with Margot's example, we also get people that are like, hey, what are you doing? Can you tell me about it? And that's what we do. We are solution givers. We have this incredible gift that we have found and we've been given, and we are so passionate about sharing it with other people. So and our fourth vital behavior is recognition. And that seems crazy, but it's honest to goodness, just celebrating people in our lives that are rocking it, in their health and wellness journey, or that, are helping us on the day to day, like being more aware of telling my husband, thank you for helping me with the kids, or my parents, or being more focused on gratitude. And again, something that I should be doing every single day. So that's why I say, regardless of where you are in life and what your goals are when it comes to growing a business, any person on this planet could be a Beachbody coach and could seriously benefit from it. If anything, just their own accountability, their own growth and development, it would be, an awesome thing to incorporate. That being said, as Margot mentioned, if you come into this with the hope of, earning some extra money and extra money for the holidays, or paying for preschool for your kid, which is one of my first goals, was like, maybe I could pay for my kids' preschool tuition. Like what a nice thing to be able to do with this extra money. I think my first thing actually was, maybe I can go to Target and buy whatever I want without Nick telling me like, hey, you spent another X amount of dollars at Target. I think that was my first goal, and then it switched to preschool tuition. But whatever it is, there is so much opportunity for you to really make some extra money. And the best thing about it is we are one huge team. So everything is at your fingertips. If you decide that you really want to hit the ground running and grow a business, we have every training, everything possible that you need. You don't have to recreate the wheel. I think sometimes people will look at challenge groups and think, oh, I could never do that. We do so much of it together. We plug each other in and we support each other 100%. So it's just, it's a really great team environment. So, and we can talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, but if this is something that you think that you might want to do, don't feel like, I don't even know where to start. That's what we're here for. We'll hold your hand, we'll take you through, and we'll get you going in the pace and in the speed that you determine. We never say, hey, this is what you have to do. It's 100% up to you what you want to do with your business. Much like Margot mentioned, I have built this business, I always like to say, in the cracks of motherhood. I do some stuff in the morning after my workout. I do my personal development. I try to every day have a post that is inspirational or adds value to people's life. That's how I think about my posting. I don't want to ramrod Shakeology or any of these programs down anybody's throat, but I do want to tell people, this is what I'm doing and this is what's working for me. So if I read a quote, if I come across something that's really like, then I share it, you know? And nap time's huge for me, and the evening is huge for me. You can sit down and work in little pockets of time. You can set aside an hour if you have that. You know, it's very, very flexible to be whatever you want it to be. I think that one thing that is such a huge misconception is that, especially if we are your coaches and you see us more frequently, I think sometimes people think that to be a coach you have to be attached to your phone, and that's just not the case. You know, you can still offer great guidance to people and really help them connect the dots on their own health and wellness journey without being on call 24/7. I certainly don't feel like I am on call 24/7. I'm really upfront with my challengers and my coaches and let them know, like, might take me 24 hours to respond to a message. You know, I try not to have my phone out when I'm around my kids and doing work. So, you know, I think that that's important to know, that just because you are embarking on a business that is social media oriented in many ways, you are not stuck to your device at all times by any stretch of the imagination. And she also mentioned she has a newer coach that doesn't have kids yet. I have to say, after being a coach for 3 years, my only and truly my only regret is that I did not do this sooner. I have a friend that first introduced me. I had never heard of any of these programs. It was like back in 2008, and Beachbody launched in 2007. And she introduced me to, gosh, what is that called? Brazilian butt lift. I didn't do it, but she was teaching it at a fitness class. She's one of my coaches now. And I think back to all the times that I was like, why didn't I look into that more then? Like, and only because it's such an incredible community, I wish that I was plugged in sooner. And you've got to understand that if a mom of 4 kids, 6 and under, that works full time, and as Margot doesn't have family nearby, has moved a ton, if my only regret is not doing this sooner, then you know it's something really, really special. So yeah, Margaret, did we leave anything out?
I don't think so. I just wanted to mention, because this like rings really true for me, and probably I would imagine true for you too, but I was listening to Oprah's podcast the other day, and I adore her, and she said every good and right decision she has made in her life has been one she made from her gut, like her instinct, her intuition, and every bad and decision that she regrets, which, I mean, God, what could she regret? But still, came from when she was listening to like outside voices and not her own. And I really think that rings really true for me with coaching, is I just kind of trusted this like gut instinct to kind of go for it, even though how I didn't know when I was going to fit it in. I didn't know what value. I didn't think my story was good enough, but I just, this voice, this gut instinct was telling me to like go for it. So I think if you are watching this, and you are kind of feeling like, I don't really know why, but I'm attracted to this community, or I'm attracted to something about this, then trust your gut. And people like myself and Megan and other members in this community and on our team will get you there, like, for the rest of it. And that's something that I kind of just trusted my gut. I trusted you when you said, like, look, I'll help you. And you did, and you still do. And I think that's just the biggest piece of advice, is that when something's telling you, like, this might be a good fit for you, like, just go for it. We gotta trust those voices. Yes, Jen and Lauren, that's awesome. Yes, just trust your gut. There's a reason why you're being called to do this, even if you didn't listen.
So true. So true. It is. I've never been in sales. Like, that's something that people, like Margot does have a background in sales. I was a high school English teacher. And then I've worked for a marketing research firm for the last 9 years. All of the reasons in the world that I had to say no when I first started, like, thinking about this, you know, having young kids, having no support around, like, I didn't have really set structure in my life to like take on another job. Another big deterrent for me is I'm 5'8". I've always been like between a size 10 and 12. Like I kept thinking, but I don't look like a fitness coach, you know? And I was 8 weeks postpartum. So I was fluffy and uncomfortable in my own skin. And like, I hear that all the time, that people say to me like,
Yeah.
I really love this, but I'm just not ready because I'm not physically ready yet to lead people. And my goodness, I have to tell you, don't let that stop you, because somebody out there wants to hear your story, and they're going to relate to your body and where you are in your journey, and you're going to speak to them in a way that nobody else would be able to, you know. And I almost let that stop me. I almost let my age stop me too. I'm 36 now. I was 33 when I signed up. And I kept thinking like, I feel like online companies are something that like younger girls do, not like more like
Mature.
womanly moms, mature moms, you know? And I was like, is this so ridiculous? Like I could have let any of those things. I don't have a background in sales. I think that most MLMs are so crazy annoying, and I didn't want to be perceived that way. Like all of those things were like dancing in the front of my mind. But like what Margot said, I had this like very like guttural reaction of like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like this is something really, really special. And it needs more normal faces out there to tell other women like, this can solve so many of the challenges that you're facing. So, you know, trust us there. Like it's a different beast than other online companies. It is such a cool thing to help people, you know, really come into their own when it comes to their health and wellness journey, and empower them to change their lives, and then have that ripple effect that they get to impact everybody in their world. It's so special.
Yeah, and just it is what you want it to be. No one's
Mm-hmm.
telling you what to post every morning. No one is telling you you must sell this, you must order this dollar amount for yourself. There is none of that. And that was a huge difference for me. Like this is Margot Barber, health and fitness. I just absolutely love the programs and tools that got me there. So I'm going to share those with you. But this is me, and it can be about you. And that is the part that I actually love more every day about this, is that I can post what I want to post. Megan can post what she wants to post. Like they're telling us now today.
Yes.
On these 3 points. It's just not like that. And real quick, what Lauren's saying, like how people tell her she's like small to begin with, this is exactly why we need so many different types of people, not just physically, but all across the board, because the fact remains, like nobody should be commenting on your size whatsoever. That's a whole nother topic. But we all like get judged in different ways. And I felt like I didn't want to do this because I didn't want people judging me for like being in an MLM and like posting my story out there. But if you guys really take a look at some of the stuff that comes up on your timeline, come on. This is positive. This is like actually going to potentially help someone. Like, let's be real. This is all good. And I just take this mentality. If you don't like it, you keep it scrolling or delete me. Like I'm cool with that. I have deleted people that I don't like what they have to say. If you are uncomfortable with what I have to say, like, and that definitely comes from like being in this organization and reading the right types of things and filling your head with the good and bad. But that I needed in my life more than just to be a coach. And I don't think, honestly, I don't think I would have gotten that anywhere else in my life. Like, I don't know that I really realized how much I needed a check up here, because I was obviously one of those people who didn't need personal development, you know, because like, I'm good. So it's like, I'm also one of those that'll read every single parenting book on a topic. Like I probably read 6 books on breastfeeding, but let like nothing to work on me, like crazy. Right. So now I know better, do better, and like teach my children better, etc. You know, all that stuff. But I just think this really is an opportunity to make it what you want to make it, and the good that you want to give. This is like your way and your opportunity to do it. And I will definitely pop in tomorrow and talk a little bit about sharing versus selling. If people are interested in hearing a little bit more, since I have done both this and have a regular sales background, there are some like differences. And just because you know, you may have had a successful sales career, or you may actually hate the word sales, like I still think you can have a lot of success in this field.
Yes, and I will pop in tomorrow too, guys, to talk about a couple things about the compensation plan, so you better understand how we do earn, and also to debunk any fears out there about, is this a pyramid scheme? What does that mean? Because I think that's a common misconception. Pyramid schemes are illegal. This is absolutely not a pyramid scheme. So I will cover those things tomorrow. I'll probably jump on in the morning because I have to catch a flight to New Jersey for real work. And then I'll leave it to Margot to hop in with you guys sometime in the afternoon. But thank you guys so much for jumping on with us. I hope that this was beneficial for you. I hope you kind of got a feel for who we are as a team, and we would love to have more of you guys on board with us. Okay, we will talk with you soon. See ya.
Thanks.